Chalk Talk is back for its 8th season, and this season is going to be our best ever. We have back with us 2009 ICSA Quantum Female Sailor of the Year, Jane Macky.
Great to be back.
This season we'll also be hearing from 2012 All-American and part of that 2012 ICSA Team Race National Championship team, the Charleston Cougars, Zeke Horowitz.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
No, Zeke, that's good. They look good like that. Well, finally, we're really thrilled to be welcoming back our presenting sponsor, U.S. Sailing. They are the national governing body of the sport in the U.S. and big supporters of college sailing. Right now, U.S. Sailing is offering full adult memberships to college students for just a fraction of their regular price. So check out all the details at ussailing.org/college.
Looking at the weekend in review, 20 of the top ladies teams in the nation gathered at the U.S. Naval Academy this weekend for the Navy Spring Women's Interconference Regatta. The home team, Navy Women, came away with a convincing 23-point win over the Seahawks. Mary-Kate Hall dominates A Division, winning by 30 points, while Marissa Lehan, her teammate in B Division, held it down, finishing third. Consistency in both divisions was pretty tough to come by this weekend. We saw a lot of teams finishing really well in one division while not finishing so hot in another. Most notably, the UVM Catamounts posted an impressive win in B Division from sophomore Olivia Crane, but struggled a bit in A Division, finishing 12th. I caught up with Mary Hall this weekend on the phone to talk a little bit about her team's success. She told me that local knowledge was certainly a factor. She and her teammate Marissa would chit-chat between every race about the patterns they were seeing in order to relate them to what they saw in practice earlier that week. She also told me that the current was a pretty big factor and that playing it correctly was hugely advantageous, especially when playing comeback. I asked her if her team was hungry for a win after seeing their ranking of 7th earlier in the week. She said that she was a bit surprised that they weren't ranked a little bit higher and that they were eager to get out there and make a statement. And that they certainly did. Look out for these midship women. They are young, they're fast, and they'll definitely be a force to be reckoned with on the ladies circuit.
Turning now to the opposite coast, it's the LA Harbor Cup hosted by Los Angeles Yacht Club. Now this is offshore sailing, but it's such a cool regatta we love to feature it here on Chalk Talk. Great video from Jim Gregson for this 3-day regatta. The team saw a mix of sailing conditions, including big swell on Saturday, as you can see. California Maritime won its 3rd LA Harbor Cup in a row. They took 5 out of the 10 races and didn't even have to sail the final race on Sunday.
Get off the line, and we tried to make our maneuvers as clean as possible. We ended up recovering from our mistakes and sailing fast the rest of the race and ended up pulling it out of 1.
And Zeke, you'll be happy to see the Charleston Cougars debut their new offshore team at this regatta, finishing 2nd just ahead of SUNY Maritime.
2 team race regattas were sailed this weekend. The John Jackson sailed at Georgetown saw 3 of college sailing's most competitive teams fielding a B squad. They sailed in shifty conditions over the whole weekend and they managed 10 races on Saturday with just enough time for 4 on Sunday after the wind filled in. Stanford wins over College of Charleston. Now over to the St. Mary's team race. We had 10 of the top teams coming together for this team race. Any team could beat another, and at this time in the year we're always looking for the warmer climate teams to do better than their colder counterparts. BC leads the regatta after the first day over the Georgetown Hoyas. A little bit of a surprise, but perhaps not, because they just came off their spring break training, so they must have been rearing and ready to go. Saturday saw shifty conditions, which gave way into steady conditions on Sunday for a final 6 gold round robin. Stanford sailed into the win, doing much better in the steadier conditions.
Wow, pretty amazing. Stanford taking both big team races this year, showing that they're probably the deepest team in the country right now.
Whoa, Chris, deepest team in the country? Are you kidding? You want to talk about depth? Let's look at the College of Charleston Cougars. Are you kidding me?
Well, I mean, Zeke, pretty undeniable here, back-to-back, side-to-side wins. Who can field 6 skippers and 6 crews and win both regattas?
Well, it looks like Stanford can probably field 6. We can probably field, I don't know, 8, 9, 10, 12. Yeah, they got us this weekend. Crummy conditions over at the John Jackson in Georgetown. I think some airplanes messed up the Cougars a little bit there. And, you know, tough go of it at St. Mary's for those guys, but when you've got your Guatemalan superstar flying in late night, getting overnighted into the county to show up and sail on a body of water that you've been cursed on for years. What do you expect? I'm not worried about the weekend.
Zeke, Stanford is looking at this recruiting class they got 2 years ago. They're now in their junior year. And look, that was the year they had 12 prospects that they were looking to get into Stanford and onto the sailing team, and all 12 of them made it. That is just an enormous incoming freshman class, and they followed it up with 2 more great incoming classes to boot.
Did those guys all get cut from Charleston in the first week of tryouts? I don't know, man. These guys, there's no way they're deeper. You've got heavily weighted at the top, Mac Mays, Ben Spector, Juan Magley, Chris Bonholzer, leading up a group of young freshmen. Jake Reynolds, Ryan Davidson. These guys are freaks, man. They're really, really, really good. They've got 6, 7, 8, 9 different people that could win your race days. Their race days are more competitive than most interconference regattas that you're going to find anywhere in college sailing. And you put them together on the team race course, they're level-headed, they're learning quick, they're feisty, they're fast. It's just not really fair.
Zeke, I'm looking for the data to back this up. I mean, you look at what these Stanford team did at definitely the deepest team race, the biggest competition this season, or maybe even last, down at the St. Mary's team race. And the Cardinal just getting it done here. Kevin Labe, Kieran Chung, and Oliver Toole are now the 3 primary skippers on that team. But, we've seen Mateo Vargas can get it done as well. He's bringing up the younger guys, Hans Hankin and Antoine Scrieve. These are all-star names. They were all killer sailors in junior sailing. They've got the speed, and now they're getting the team race talent as well. They've put in a few years of experience. They brought on the new assistant coach, Clinton Hayes, last season. Stanford is ready to have their breakout year this year.
Chris, you're naming a whole bunch of really talented skippers, and you're absolutely right. Those guys are fast. They can get it done, no doubt. But not only can the College of Charleston match there, but what I think is the most important about their team is these guys have the crews to keep those skippers going fast the whole time. I think a lot of times you see the deeper teams in the country as far as skippers, but they're struggling to find the crews. College of Charleston's got 7 or 8 crews across the board, freshmen, sophomores, juniors, seniors, all of whom are All-American worthy and keeping these guys going fast. Clinton Hayes, John Vandemore, I got mad respect for those guys coaching the team up out there, but how are you going to compare anybody on paper to Coach Cromwell down in the College of Charleston, man? This guy's won every single national championship college sailing has to offer. He's won the team race nationals as a sailor and a coach now, and he's got these guys, he's got them going. Combined with their senior leadership, it's just silly. If you want to talk about depth, come back with someone else.
Okay, well, Sail 1 Design Team Race rankings are out this week, so we'll see if the college coaches agree with you guys. So moving on to the first regatta up this weekend, we have the Trux at Navy, and it's one of the only fleet race regattas of the season. It's also the only 4-division event with A and B sailed in FJs and 420s, and C and D sailed in full rigs and laser radials. It's looking like it's going to be pretty cold and a bit rainy on Saturday. Wind ranging from anywhere from 5 to 20 knots over the day on Saturday and lighter on Sunday, which should be a lot of fun for the people sailing there. And before we launch into predictions, we've got a couple of key players missing in action this weekend due to the Youth America's Cup training event. Jake Liddell from St. Mary's College, John Wallace also from St. Mary's College, Jake Reynolds, College of Charleston, Nevin Snow from Georgetown, David Liebenberg from Tufts, and Graham Landy is also on the team but actually sailing at Trux this weekend, so we know where his loyalties lie. Still, a lot of talent will be on the water this weekend, so guys, what do you think? Who's going to win?
Well, I thought Georgetown was going to have trouble without Nevin Snow, but looking at this lineup here, still a lot of talent in the lasers. Greg Martinez in C Division, Michael Shaka in D Division to complement College Sailor of the Year, Chris Barnard skippering A. So as long as their B Division squad of Alex Post and Katia De Silva can hold their own, I think Georgetown is an easy pick here for the win at the Trux.
Yeah, Georgetown does look pretty good, Chris, but I'm going to have to go with the Brown University Bears as my pick to win. They're coming off a really strong third-place finish at the Navy Fall last semester, and they're returning with the same squad. And then they've got the talent, the consistency to get it done in all divisions. I'm looking for Judge Ryan to make a pretty big statement in B division this weekend. But hey, don't sleep on those Cougars. It smells like Ward the Wizard's brewing up some nasty combinations in all divisions that could be fast enough to shock the world even without their superstars playing this weekend.
Yale, just coming off spring break. They've got a long-time team, good history at this regatta at Navy, and great skills in lasers, so they're my pick.
All right, some impartial picks from our co-hosts, but I'm a little bit surprised nobody gave a look to Tufts. Some solid double-hand division sailing here, complemented by a nasty radial sailor named Alec Ruiz Ramon, looking to make a big dent in the scoreboard for the Jumbos. But well, there we go, we got our picks for the week.
And as for St. Mary's, should be pretty similar conditions, but we've got 17 of the finest female teams coming together. So what do you guys think here?
Well, I've actually got to go with your Yale Eli this weekend, Jane, for one reason. Have you seen the names of their crews? They're absolutely unreal. I mean, if you've got a name like Ershka and Eugenia, you're bound to be a force in the front of the boat. And we know that Morgan and Marlena have enough speed to win races, and when you combine their speed with the sheer power derived from the names of their crews, you're bound for nothing but success.
Well, that is sound logic, but I think I'm going to have to go with the St. Mary's Seahawks sailing in their home waters here. This veteran team of McComb and D'Angeli, plus Roller and Golison in B Division, were hot in the fall, finishing third at ACCs behind Dartmouth and BC. But look, Dartmouth isn't here. And then BC, you know, they're coming off of a long, cold northern winter, plus St. Mary's is at home, so I think they're going to take them. Navy would have been an excellent pick coming off a win last week, but Mary Hall is not going to be in attendance, so I'm pretty confident with my pick, St. Mary's.
Zeke, good choice. I agree with the phenomenal force that is the Yale sailing team, but what about Erica Reinecke? She is a force on her own to be reckoned with. In the ACCs in the 2012 fall, the greatest final showdown for women's fleet race college sailing, she pulled her team to a second place finish to Dartmouth when she won her division in B, and her A counterpart, Stephanie Hudson, finished 10th overall. She shows us that she can pull it through no matter what, so I'm interested to see how she does this weekend.
Well, that'll do it for this week's Chalk Talk. For more news throughout the week, follow us on Facebook, and we'll see you next week.
Good luck to team sailing this weekend.
Sail fast.
I'm Zeke Horowitz.